Yeah, good to go.
Good to go.
Okay, awesome. So thanks again for coming in today.
Yeah,
really
no
appreciate it. I want to stress that we're not testing you in this study. What we're really trying to do is get your feedback about the Drupal system so we have some data on how we can actually improve it. So what we're going to be doing is working through some tasks relevant to creating a website, and I'm going to try and make the tasks somewhat relevant to the website you said you wanted to create in that survey I originally sent you. And so, you know, as you're going through the tasks, just feel free to talk to me, talk out loud, like tell me what you're thinking, just sort of verbalize anything in your head. And if you need help, we have Jen in the room, who is sort of the helpline. So if you at any point feel super stuck or like you just want to give up and you don't know what to do, you have a resource for that, okay? So do you have any questions before we get started?
Not right now.
Okay, cool. So right now, we've navigated to the URL of a brand new Drupal site. That's what you're going to be working with today. So here are your login credentials. So how about you log in? This is your administrator account details.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, so take some time to orient yourself. Just talk out loud what you see in front of you, what you're looking at. You can explore a little bit.
Okay. So it looks like just an overall dashboard up top. I'm guessing that this is going to influence something in the site creation. Structure, configure themes. So then I guess in general, kind of not knowing exactly what I want from the overall website, my first thought would be just kind of where to start, what would be easiest. I'm thinking for me personally, it might even be just starting to upload content, because then I'll start thinking, what do I know already? What do I have? What do I need to gather more? And then as I'm adding content to the site, start to structure it out and figure out where things would go. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay. So what do you think you're looking at right here on this screen?
Looks like basically just a kind of the what word am I looking for? I guess the behind the scenes of what could edit what the site looks like. So it looks like there's a pretty simple and kind of the primary target is the adding new content section here. So putting some sort of content. Obviously, I'm guessing if you click on this, that it'll open up and you'll have different options for what type of content you want to put on the page. And then the menu bar up here looks like some of the bigger level functions. So what do you want it to look like, the theme, people to include, to give access to, pretty much all the other background as far as customizing the data that you actually put in to look a certain way.
Okay, cool. All right, so now that you've, taken a look around a little bit, how about you create some background information for your website? So in this case, if you're trying to make a website that, let's say it's a website about like interview questions, like you were saying in the survey, just if you wanted to create sort of the initial background general information.
Okay. Let's see. I guess probably be part of the add new content. Basic page.
So why'd you choose basic page?
The little summary right under it said pretty much exactly what I was looking for, just like an about me type section.
Okay.
So that's why I was thinking that. I'm trying to think of what to call it. Is there something you'd like me to title it, or
no,
is it
whatever,
just kind of,
whatever you'd like, yeah.
I feel like I would want to put in the name of the website at this point, which is obviously something I haven't thought about. So let's say it's a pretty lame name of the website as far as interview success, but that's okay. It'll get us going. So then, do you want me to go into actually putting in content, or
Yeah,
just
so,
more
you know, you
kind
can
of-
write out like a sentence or something if you'd like, just
Okay.
to,
Sure, we'll go with that.
okay. And so what are you looking at in this interface?
Originally, or when I just started moving down the page?
I guess the whole thing.
Okay, yeah, just in general looking at, you know, obviously having the title section, kind of a general editing system. I was looking at basically what type of formatting this is in. So if there's the ability to use, I really have very limited to no coding knowledge, but I know a little bit of HTML to change the font, the size, and just seeing if that was an option at this point, or if it's something that's part of the editing process later. And then just kind of looking at what these next options were. So I was going to go through and just figure out kind of from here before I go to save or preview what other options I have to look at, just so there's more to look at once I
Okay. Are there any
once I
of
get
them
done
that
with
you'd
this
like
page.
to explore?
Let's see. Provide a menu link. Not really sure what that means.
What do you think that is?
Okay, so if I came back in and made any changes, since I'm guessing it won't log the specific before and after, like I don't know if that's a possibility, that this would be a place where I could type in, I made this change, I deleted this or deleted that, so that if there's other people working on it with me, they know what happened, what's changed already. That's at least what I think it is. You're all path versions. Okay, so this would be kind of like recreating your own URL to make it not so crazy or encrypted if it's all letters and words. Comment section. Okay, so they can even post comments potentially. I guess that would be my question, is if this is specific to just this page, or if that's for the whole site in general, if this is like the one place you would look to enable comments. Post comments. So I would go, I mean, just based on kind of looking at this page, I would go with the assumption that maybe this is just specifically in response to what I'm creating now, but I would probably have to come back and figure that out. Third by admin. Okay, so just logging the general information. Options. Page. So then for this, I guess I would want to explore more to figure out kind of what some of these options are as far as what the overall page layout looks like. So I guess that's kind of something that I would have to come back to figure out what it means by promoted to front page, if it's kind of like a blog layout where it's the most recent updates float to the top, or if you can set it so that they're kind of universally at the top no matter what updates are coming through, stuff like that. So I'd want to come back to that.
Okay, so do you want to save what you have now and see what it looks like? So what are you looking at right now?
Okay, so just basically what I would assume a demo of the page would look like if somebody came to it, where it would have what the page is actually going to look like, and then I'm guessing if I click edit here, it goes back to the page options.
Is that what you expected this to look like?
Yeah, you know, I really had no clue. I've never really thought about what I wanted in general from a website or what is kind of the standard that people are doing now. So that's something that I feel like I would have to do some research to set an expectation of what to expect. So this is not necessarily surprising, nor is it like not what I was thinking. It's just kind of, I figured that it would be some sort of content where I feel like most things are very blog oriented, where there's the ability to constantly be updating new material and have that be one of the main things that people go to. And so it kind of looks like that could also be the layout here, where there could be page tabs or something like that, the navigation here that jumps you from page to page. So yeah, I think that's pretty much what I was thinking.
Okay, cool. So how about you create an article about interview questions, and then you tag this content with any relevant keywords.
Okay. Let's see. So now I have to actually think of something to say in this. All right. I should have thought about this more so that I wouldn't hold everybody.
No, not at all. Thanks. It's you that's giving your time up. So
let me think. So just any sort of article in general that I think would be good content.
Yeah.
Criteria on this if I was going to post something. Let's go with like. I was wondering if maybe that little circle would give me ideas of what to put. I think I'd have to kind of come back to this too once I start writing more content, just to see what actually would come into my head.
Okay.
Do you want me to just try and keep this kind of more brief?
Yeah, just
okay.
No, I mean you could just write out like a first
couple
sentence
sentences.
type of thing.
Okay. I'm gonna just stick with that. Otherwise, I'll just, be typing for days and days aimlessly. So.
Okay, no, that's good.
I wonder, can I play with doing HTML? Is it set up to?
What do you think?
Just to, I'm guessing that it is. I just didn't know if like in the demo realm or if this is basically full operating program right now.
Yeah, no, this is like the install
cool.
you'd be getting if you went and downloaded it yourself. So.
Okay, perfect. Might as well just for fun. I don't really, like I said, I remember very, very limited amount of coding, but I feel like this is something I'd probably do. So I'd probably I kind of like the whole visual aspect, so I probably would go in and search for an image, but since I don't really have anything that I know of, like off the top of my head, that I have stored for, you know, like.
Well, actually, for the purpose of the study, on the desktop, we have a folder of images, so if you want to try that. That
would be pretty. You said it was on the desktop?
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about what it is. I just kind of want to see what it would look like.
Sure.
Ooh, I don't know though if there's option for type of dog. I like this one. Probably want, I mean, until I have more content, I'd probably want to provide a menu link for this, assuming that this could be a bigger page full of content with a bunch of follow-ups or a lot more updates. I think I'll go with that, at least that way I can kind of walk through what it would look like. Or so description.
So what do you think this menu link pertains to?
My thought in general was kind of going back to potentially that navigation space, if maybe there was navigation there, or if there's something that I've just kind of overlooked on the page where people come in and they can click through. I imagine, you know, like having the About Me page, something that's organized where it's almost like a sitemap, but a little bit more condensed, that you can choose what's on it and what's not on it.
Okay.
At least that's the assumption I'm making. I don't know if that's true.
What do you think that is, parent item?
I would guess that it's that you can make like kind of subfoldering. So if I had this as my big main title, and then I had 10 articles underneath it, I could drop all of them under the main menu link of how to prepare for your interview, and then it could be, you know, A, B, C, D, and different steps to tag into that, and then they'll start to pop up here potentially as I add them to the menu in order to log them in. Larger weights. So this could be potentially the order of how I order things, I'm guessing. Menu links with smaller weights are displayed before links with larger weights. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what that means.
Okay. All right, so do you want to take a look at what this would look like if you saved it?
Sure.
Or
do you need to, I guess that's a question. Do I need to call my helpline? I was going to say, is that, can I preview before I save, or?
What do you think?
I don't know. I would just try it, because I didn't put a whole lot of effort into it, so I wouldn't be too terrible, like too sad if it totally disappeared. But
okay. So what are you looking at here?
Looking at what I think. Okay, let's see. I should probably read this. Trim version of your post. Promoted to the main page. Okay, so I'm guessing that there's options for it looks like if you promote it to the main page, it takes on a more condensed link type version where it'll have some of the information, and then I'm guessing you click on it and it expands out to the actual page that it's on and shows you everything. And then it also has all the, that's kind of cool that you can preview it on the same edit page too. So that does answer my question as to whether or not I can save. Okay.
So what are you looking at here?
I'm looking at the article in its final completed stage, or at least what somebody coming into the website would see if they came in.
Okay.
And it looks like it has the information, picture, and then as well the comments section. I forgot to take a look at that and go back and see if I could change the comments specific to each article, which I'm guessing I can. Let me go back in and take a look at that. Yeah, comment setting. So let's say didn't want somebody. I don't want any feedback on my content. So then, yeah, just.
So is that what you expected when you did that with the comments?
Yeah, I was hoping that it would get rid of it here, and then I guess the final test would be to go back to, I guess, kind of the home page. And I guess now my question would be, what did I do with that other page that I created? So this isn't home. Yeah, I guess I'm not sure what happened to my About Me page. Basic page.
What's this screen?
My thought was that it was just going to show me everything that's on the site, and it looks like now that I see it, it has a breakdown of where things are and the type of details, and kind of has like immediate edit links here. I guess I'm just wondering why. I guess I thought when I clicked home it would go back to the basic page for the About Interview Success.
Why did you think that?
I don't know. I guess I thought that since it was a basic page, to me sounds like it would be some of the foundational pages that you build off of. And I guess just not seeing it on the menu at all, and now I just don't really know what it was or what I did with it.
Okay.
So,
okay.
But I'm guessing from here I can go back. Dashboard.
So what's this?
It's a good question. It looks like it just has recent created content stacking in top of whatever was the most recent addition. Customize dashboard, that might give me more information. Read comments, who's online. I guess just if I was going back to the original web page, I would just want to figure out how, like if someone were to come into the basic first initial URL, what are they going to see? And figuring out where that's stored and how I'm building off of that, so that, because I guess when I look at the difference in the pages, it looks pretty similar. Like it looks like this is, I mean, obviously this is the full link, whereas if you go home, it's more condensed. But I guess I just don't know what happened to like the About page or anything like that. I'd have to go exploring for it.
Okay. All right. So, like you just saw when you created that article, by default, Drupal has two different flavors of content, page and article. So can you create a new one of these, like that's called interview question or something, or question?
What do you mean? Do you mean create a different, like not an article and not a basic page?
Yeah.
I could try. Let's see.
So what are you looking at?
I'm looking at don't really know why I went to modules. I thought that maybe modules would be like another term for type of content that you could potentially add to your page, but it looks like this is actually almost like different add-ins or different features that you can add. Database login field. So some of this looks like you can turn these features on and off, and some of them look like they're not changeable. System toolbar tracker. Yeah, this seems more towards the actual like functionality side rather than what I was thinking of. Of actually adding something basically to the option of creating a different type of content. I guess this doesn't seem like it is the right place to be. Yeah, at this point I would probably go to help and just see. I'm wondering if there's I'm not sure how to actually go in and change the type, either article or basic page. I guess that does say content types. That makes a lot more sense. So this is probably what I'm looking for.
So what is this interface showing you?
This looks like what sets up the definitions that you then see in your, sorry, I'm reading and talking at the same time. In the add content, when you go to add content, it looks like these are where you set your menu options. So if you want to define different types of articles and pages, I guess I just wouldn't, I'm not sure if there's like a standard understanding of what this website considers an article versus a page, or if these are things that you just kind of name arbitrarily for your own personal use. So basic page for static content. So I guess, you know, it looks like you can set it up where you have different types of articles. Obviously these are things that you're going to be updating or that are going to be coming in one at a time, whereas like it says right here, static content. And I guess I would still wonder though, where is this static content then? Because if I go to the home page and the first thing it shows is the most recent link, I guess I would just wonder why it wasn't in, I guess my expectation was maybe even under that navigation site listing that it would have the breakout of all of the basic pages or something like that.
Okay. So if you wanted to create one of these for an interview question, how would you do that? I
would go here and then see if I can find out more information based on kind of what the fields are. Different fields, behaviors, permissions.
So what are you looking at?
Just basically trying to learn more about what I should think about when I'm developing a new type of content. So making sure that I'm understanding what exactly it means to add a new content page, or whether or not it's necessary. Like obviously if I have an article and I'm just thinking it's a different article, then that it wouldn't be appropriate to make something that's just necessarily a different type of article, because it's just going to be repeat. So more so understanding like the different levels of functionality, what makes the different content options like actually significantly different, so that I'm not wasting a bunch of time, and just
Yeah.
putting in a bunch of extra options that I don't need. So submission form, publishing options seems to make good sense there. So as far as if I want to create, I guess I'm just trying to think of some type of content that wouldn't just be an article, or I guess maybe like a blog. Would that be something that's significantly different and possible within?
So if you wanted to create a content type for an interview question, how could you use this form to do that?
You mean in the sense of just storing interview questions, like almost like a database, or talking about like?
Well, I guess, what do you think a content type does?
I'm not sure if I'm understanding. Let me think. So do you mean, what does a content type do? So basically, like, what is the functionality of each of the content options that I'm making? It seems like to put some sort of universal coding so that I don't have to constantly change where I want it to go and who I want to have access to it, or if they can comment or not comment. Like, basically, anytime I put out an article, it's going to be, I know in my head it's going to be something informational that I want lots of comments on, that I want a discussion to be going, so I could determine if I want, it to develop as a thread or just comments that are on a page. So I guess more so, almost thinking of it as like the intended purpose of what the content is, rather than what the actual content, like the words that are there, but what am I doing with that? Okay. So I guess that's kind of how I was thinking about it, or trying to describe what I'm trying to learn about this, is thinking about, okay, well, what am I going to do that's different than an article? What else would I want besides posting new information? Do I want some universal standards that are always there? And then I would kind of think, well, I guess that's more like a basic page, and that's already covered too. So then my third thought was something that's more user-driven, so like a blog where I'm not necessarily creating content, but people can call out certain topics that they either think of on their own or they generate from articles I'm posting, and they basically run the show there. Okay. So, but I guess as far as content, I wouldn't think that a blog would necessarily fall into that, because it's not, I don't know, I guess I just don't think of it as content, because I'm not putting anything into the system. I'm just saying, have this option where people can like log in and then make up their own stuff. Yeah. Okay. Well, so if your plan was to have maybe like, eventually 20 different questions or something. Okay. How do you think you might be able to use a content type to help you with that? Content type. I think most of the reason why I think I'm kind of getting stuck on this is just that I almost think of any time I would want to bring up an interview question, and maybe just due to my lack of like what you can do online with websites, I would just make it an article, just because I don't really know any better as far as like what other options there are out there to make it more interactive. I don't know if there's a way that they could go into like content which is actually a practice interview site, where it'll randomly pull from 20 questions that are in a database and say, if you were given this, practice thinking and typing up an answer for a response, so that they can just think about what is being asked here. Or even if it had that general format where every time I put a question in, it basically links to like a practice form where the person can then say, it'll say like, what is being asked here, and they can summarize. So something, I guess I would think of content like that, where there's something being stored internally to the website that they can access in kind of a uniform way. Okay. But I feel like I don't know what options there are, like for websites in general, like how to do any of this, or what is built into to programs kind of as a standard option.
Okay. So what you can do here on this form is create your own content type.
Okay.
So how about you put in a name there for a content type that's going to represent interview questions?
Can I just use interview questions? Okay. And is this more so storage for interview questions, or is that an option? Could I just...
What do you mean by that?
Is what I'm working on developing like something that'll just store all of the questions? Like just type in new questions and it just adds it kind of to a...
So this is going to be like every time you add a question, it'll be of this content type. So
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, okay. So how about you save this? Or well, yeah. Okay. So what are you looking at here?
Back to the, I guess what's called here the structure tab, and looking at the same list that I had before, adding a content type, but with my new content type now here.
Cool, okay. So do you want to create an interview question?
Yeah. Let's go for it. Try not to use an actual one. Let's see. I guess since I'm thinking dogs, so I'm just going to make up something really random. This is probably my finest interview question ever. Okay. Let's go with that as a sample. Do I want to provide a menu link?
So what do you think that'll do?
My thought now, based on what I've been seeing, I guess I don't know if it's going into an actual like menu or drop down or navigation or something, or if provide a menu link actually means that it's just posting it on like the home page automatically. So I would probably just try it out and see what it does, and then come back if that wasn't my intention. So then again, I guess it's kind of back to the same general options. Could put it under home.
Cool. Okay, so when you created an article, you were able to tag it with keywords. So now let's say you'd like to add that same tagging functionality you just used to this new content type, interview questions. So sample dog walker question could have its own tags.
So just basically add in different tags, or the same ones for my other question?
So the ability. So you'd like to add the ability to add tags.
The ability to add tags. Okay. Let's see. last time it was an actual option here, but I'm just seeing if I made that up in my head. Okay. So it doesn't look like HTML tags. That's different. Okay, it doesn't look like I can do that from this general edit page. So what I'm wondering is if I go back here, if there's like an operational setting. It's going to be the same page, isn't it? I feel like I've found this before, and now I've administrator settings. This is just going to be yeah, I feel like I'm just going to keep going back to the same thing when I click. Thought it would be as part of the edit option, but
So is there any other interface maybe where you can find these options? Like,
see, I know I just did it for that other one. I can't remember where we were.
how about you go back and find out the different con types you've created? Do you know how to get to the interface where you can edit your content types?
I thought this is what it was. Yeah, I have no clue. I feel like I just keep going back to the same page.
Okay. Remember, you also have a helpline if you would like to use it.
Help. Where am I supposed to be going?
Okay, so you're trying to look at what?
I'm trying to add the ability to tag a different content type that I've created.
Okay. So do you remember where all your content types are listed?
I found a couple spots.
So this is a place where all your content is listed, but it's not actually defining the types. Do you remember where the types were? Yes.
Okay. And on structure. This is content types. Okay. So manage tagging. Well then. sure what.
So this is close. This is useful, but it's, yeah, on this page there's another place that just describes the types of content you already have. Yeah. And so somewhere in here you want to change the configuration of your interview questions to include the ability to add tagging.
So
you're on the right track.
All right. Okay. Now I feel like I haven't even looked through this stuff, which is also interesting.
So what are those things along the top?
I have no clue. I would have to click through them just to read. Manage fields, manage display.
Yeah, what do you think this is?
It's like for this specific interview question content type that I created, some sort of universal control for anything I put into this category. It'll change, all these functions will change consistently across anything that goes into interview question content.
Okay. So what do you think you can do from this interface? What about this?
Okay, so it looks like setting
So if you go back to manage fields, what do you think fields are?
I have no clue.
Okay. So where it says add new field or add existing field, do you have any expectation for what that might do?
Add existing field, I would guess anything that I've created for any of the other options or any of the other content would just be an option here.
Mm-hmm.
And then new field would just be completely new generation of a type of field.
Okay. So if you know that the article content type already has the ability to add tagging, do you think you can replicate that from this interface?
Yeah, it looks like this is the term reference tags. I mean, that would make sense logically just looking at what the options are here. Checkboxes, I'm not sure what that is, but I would guess it would be autocomplete term widget, because that's basically what I was doing last time, was typing in the information.
Okay.
So then I guess I would just save and go back and see.
Okay.
If it worked.
Cool. So what are you looking at in this interface?
Tagging field. Looks like adding in, I don't know, I mean this looks really complicated, but it looks like it's defining how to add this in, almost like what you want this to look like.
Okay.
Or I'm not sure why there's an extra label, or if this is like a preview of what it's supposed to look like.
All right. So what would your next action be from this point?
I would probably just figure out if I felt like I needed to change anything. I mean, seeing the default value being what I want it to be. But I guess I don't know what this is. If this is something, it looks like there might be the option to have it auto tag everything that I throw into interview questions, without me having to add extra tags to each individual article. Like this is a universal tagline that it's going to put on everything.
Okay.
So I'd have to default value. So I guess, yeah, I could set it as using default value.
Okay, so how about we save this and you try creating an interview question and see what happens.
Okay. Means I have to think of another brilliant question. My brain power is being zapped. So let's go with another complex dog walking situation. And look at that, tagging's there, hooray. So I'm guessing that if I would have gone back and saved some automatic tags in the default value, that it would have generated here, and then maybe I could add some additional without having to replicate that. But I guess for the sake of this, I could just put
So is this what you expected it to look like?
Yeah, this is pretty much exactly what I was thinking. Well, at least exactly what the last one kind of did too when I was going through that.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is pretty much what I expected as far as having a main home page where your newest content's floating to the top, and then obviously it sounded like if you change the weighting that these may, I forget, I'd have to reread what it said on the page, if it can change this or if it's just in the menu itself.
In what menu?
I have no clue. I thought that, I'm guessing maybe this is now the menu, but I'm not sure why my basic page is still somewhere unknown. That's kind of confusing to me.
Okay.
I don't know where I put it now, considering all these are floating to the main home page.
Mm-hmm.
I would think that it would be under navigation. I'm not sure if that's like something that I'm supposed to have edited, but
okay. All right, well, we're out of time for this session.
Okay.
But this was super helpful. Thank you so much.
No,
this was super
don't
helpful.
Really know how to do most of this stuff.
No, thanks. This is like exactly the type of stuff we like to hear, so we can find out how to make Drupal better.
Hey guys, we'll be back in about 15 minutes for the next user.